Good morning, guys, and welcome to Unique Not Different. My name is Shamla, and today is International Friendship Day. So I switch it up a bit. I have three of my friends I invited to give a perspective on having a friend with a disability. I don't know if I'm their first friend, last friend, or what, but they will talk in general, right? So this is Danielle McLean.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
This is Renako Dritan.
Morning.
And Sherry Akal. I brought three of them to give three different perspectives. So again, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good. Fine.
Good.
So Renako,
Yes.
prior to meeting, so what I'm going to do is be a little more formal,
Yeah.
and then we'll go a little more personal,
Sure.
right? So prior to meeting someone with a disability, what was your perspective on persons with disability and your thought?
Well, to be honest, I really didn't have a perspective, at the point in time. For me, it was just about, they're just a person, so I try to treat everyone, the same. I try not to look at them really differently.
Right.
As your show entitled, Unique Not Different, I just try to look at you as the person you are,
Right.
and nothing else.
And if it's, let's say, from the outside, you see someone like staring at someone that's trying to reach you
Yeah.
in the mall, etc.
Yeah.
What?
Well, to me, I try not to do that, because, you don't know a person.
No, not you. Like if you see somebody
If I
staring
see-
or asking questions,
Well,
how that process in your mind? How is
Well, to me, I really didn't really take it on much,
Right.
because you don't know the circumstance, you don't know what the person was inquiring about, But for me, I always tried, me personally, I tried never to make the person feel, different whenever I interacted with them.
Yeah. And Danielle, after meeting someone with a disability, right? How has your perspective changed?
Well, initially, I thought that persons with disabilities needed extra care, extra attention. But when I met you, for instance, I realized that that's not the case, that everyone is equal and doesn't need extra attention because they have a disability.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Sherry, in terms of socialization, people tend to put persons with disability into groups or clumps and say, okay, they only have friends like their peers who have a disability.
Yes.
Given your perspective, what do you think persons, how important it is to, venture out and have just a whole different spectrum of friends?
I think it's a human rights issue.
Yeah.
To begin with, it's a human rights issue. And I think it's very important that people who are different, people who are disabled, who are from minority groups, or from, a different language, any sort of difference, that they form friends and deep friendships, social friendships, and social relationships with people who are not just like themselves, but who are different in many ways, because it lends to their personal development.
Right.
And as I said, it's a human rights issue.
Right. And Danielle, in terms of like knowing someone now that has a disability, right? And I know you volunteer and you also worked at the NCPD, right? How, in terms of development, in terms of Trinidad and Tobago, what, in your perspective, what you think can be done, in order to push forward development? It could be in any aspect.
Well, that's an interesting question, because I actually happened to do my thesis in studying accessibility for persons with disabilities.
Okay.
And I think that aspect needs a lot of development. We don't think of that. We don't think of that in terms of how we design our buildings in particular for persons with disabilities. And a lot of research has to go into how we cater for persons with disabilities as well. And working with persons with disabilities, I've realized that we don't consider them and how they will access buildings. So in that regard, I think a lot more work needs to be done for that area.
Sherry?
That is such a pertinent perspective, because, first of all, I really admire the work that's done at NCPD, right? But it's not just for physical access, persons with disabilities, persons with exceptionalities. It's not just about physically accessing a building. it is about also accessing the education, accessing the jobs, accessing the socialization of being human, right? Yeah. So it is so much more than just adapting buildings or building buildings with that universal design in mind. It is just universal design in everything.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Not just in a building, not just in architecture.
Is that a one-prong?
Yeah.
It's like a holistic thing.
Oh.
Renako. I got to call you by your home name, Renako.
Yeah.
So let's get personal. Right?
Sure, Sham.
That sounds like a threat.
Hey, I know Sham 12 years now. Sham not easy, you know.
What was your first, and be honest,
Yeah.
What was your first perception about me? I know you was the first person I talked to on campus.
You were very forthright. You weren't shy.
Okay.
You know, you interacted quite well with everyone who was there, and you know you were very friendly. You know, and I think that's what attracted to me the first time I met you. That you were so open and you were so normal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
Well, I'm normal.
You know what I mean, Sham? You know, because throughout the 12 years, I mean, our experiences have always been unique. Yeah. You know, you weren't easy. I'll tell you that because you always used to give me a lot of trouble, and you still do it.
Still do.
You know, but you were amazing. That's the first thought I had about you at the point in time, because you were amazing as a friend. You know, and that's how I felt about you throughout our entire course, through UE and as we developed.
That's why I maintain contact. Okay, good.
I want to visit your home too.
Yes. Danielle, what do you consider friendship?
I consider a friend or friendship being someone or people who connect with each other and who have a commonality, who share common interests. Yeah. And having you as a friend, we realize we have a lot in common. Yeah. We laugh a lot. Yeah. Yes. And that's important. And persons who will sacrifice for each other as well. Yeah. And that's important in a friendship.
Yeah. Sherry?
A friend is somebody who will be by your side, no matter what. Yeah. Somebody who is not afraid to tell you when you're doing nonsense. Yes. And to tell you, well, all right, hold up. I think you need to rethink what you're doing, right? And that's a true friend. Somebody who will let you know, what they really think about you.
Yes, true.
Yes. Drayton?
Yeah, well, a friend is you, Shamla.
Well, define me.
You should know better.
I know, exactly. But I'm probably not. Supportive. You're a very attentive. You're very hardworking. You're inspirational. You know,
I was being general. No, not
I know, but I mean that to me is what a friend is. You know, someone who can always inspire you. Sometimes you're down, and sometimes that friend is someone who you could fall back to, could trust that even though sometimes some things are not going good in your life, that they have your back, and that they'll always offer you a kind word. That even though it's a not so good day, it'll still be a good time in your life. You know, they always have you.
I just want to say thank you, and this is a representative of the type of friends I have. In my circle, there are not many, but they are just like me. And sometimes I feel like I'm friends with my twins because they're the same way. And I consider a friend who could uplift you, who knows more than you. Always consider that, who you can learn from, and who compliments you. Yeah. So nice. That being said, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique and Different. My name is Shamna. Until next week, be good, do good. Bye, guys.